like we are live. Hi everyone, this is Kushal Sharma. So today we are going to learn about JavaScript.info and especially the chapter objects. Let's try to do this. So first we'll go with the chapter 1, objects. So the thing or basic table of content is that I'll go through each chapter and we'll try to explain and code as much as I can. And if you have the questions, go with the chat or comments. I'll get back to you. Cool. Okay, let's start. So this is about the objects. There are two data types in the two main data types in the JavaScript, which is primitive and non-primitive. So there are 8 data types, and 7 of them are called as primitive, and 1 of them are called as non-primitive. So objects are non-primitive. So most of the JavaScript is built with or upon the objects. So we have to learn this object, right? The basic syntax of creating an object is by two ways. First is you can use a new keyword and make an object, or you can just use the curly braces, right? So let's say they have created a new empty object. So this is how a simple empty object will look like. You will have a location in memory, and you can put entries or properties in this keyword value key value form. So we have a user object, and it has two properties, name and age, and name is key here, and the value of the name is job. Similarly, age is the key and 30 is the value. Property has a key, also known as name, or before colon. Yeah, so if anything before the colon is key and anything after the colon is value. So this was the object, and now we have two properties. Can be imagined as two files in the cabinet, right? You can add, remove and read files from it anytime. Property values are accessible using the dot notation. So if you want to print or use these properties and the values of user object, we can use it using the dot. One way to use or access them is using the dot. So if you have object name user, we can access the property of the name using user.name, right? So we can also add the value, new key value using similar type. Object name dot a new property equal to some value, right? And to remove a property, we just use the delete keyword, delete space user dot key. Right? We can also use the multi-word property name. So right now we just saw that there's only single name in the property, right? Key. So we can also use the spaced words or multi-word property name. We just have to put them into quotes. That's the rule here. Okay, and the last property may or may not end with a comma. Doesn't matter. Okay. So the thing is, we have made a new property like birds, but how do we access this thing? The problem is we cannot go with this thing because it will give you an error. So if you try to edit, let me just try and make a file index.js, right? This is the file. we'll try to make a new object. So we can let object equal to, well, let's keep it empty, right? I want to create a new property, object dot age equal to 10, well, right? Now if I do console dot log and write object to print something. So we have to run this. What we do is we use no space next to test. You can see we have an object with age property, value of it is as 12, right? Now we are to making the key as a space word, right? So let's do that. Let's make a key as a space words. I'll go with this. My name is Kusha, right? So this will work. It is a string called my name, which is a key, and right now if we print it, we'll see there will be two properties in this particular object, right? Okay. Sorry, I have to put the string. Yeah. So basically, I have two properties: my name and age. My name is value Kushal, which is in string, and age is 12. Now the problem is, I just want to print. If I want to print, let's just say console.log object.age, it will work totally fine. As you can see, I've got 12, right? This is the console. So let me just put this one as comment age, right? So that we are very confusion. We have age is 12. But what if I want to access the my name? Well, if we try to do console.log name object dot my name. So as you can see, my editor is giving me already warning about there is an error of name is appreciated, because it is understanding this and this is a different word, so it is giving error. But yeah, let's execute. Even with this, we'll see what goes wrong, right? So it says missing argument syntax error. So we have a syntax error here. The problem is because it is trying to find the object with key name my, which is not able to find. That's why it is giving a syntax error. Now there is another way to access the objects property, which is square bracket. So in the square bracket notion, what we have to do is we have to use object and the square bracket, and then there is a key value, so the key in the quotes, right? So now if we try to execute this thing, we'll get the name, age and name. So now we got the name as well. Right. Let's go back to square brackets. We have that. Yeah, we can similarly use alert. We can delete it as well, similarly. Okay, what else? The not repetition cannot be used in similarly. Okay, so basically if we try to pass a string in user square bracket, it works, but if we try to pass user dot key and there is a string, it won't work, because here it expects just a name, not a string, a code's name. So that's why it gives an undefined. As you can see, it will give us undefined. But here the same thing, which is in key has a value of a string. Okay, and right here if we get let me just execute this. What I want to know about the user, like just write age, right? Not name. I want to write age. To give us age, because this comes in a string and this square notion works with that, but the dot notation not works. So that's why. Can you describe a green object editor by clicking object? That's called computed properties. For instance, at float equal to prompt, which would be file, back put file. Okay. So basically, first of all, this line will execute. Here we'll get a prompt, and this will get some string. And now when we are creating an object, this variable has some string. So what will happen? This variable will be converted to a string, and it will get what the key of this object back will be the prompt you enter, right? And now if we enter apple here, it will be 5. So let me give an example with apple. We'll get to 5, but if we enter something else here, it will be undefined. So I'm going to apple 1 maybe, yeah, let's try it. So we'll get the undefined. Which food to buy? Apple, apple, to the sample, take the property name of the food value, back, food to the file. Same thing, right? So whatever I enter here, it will go here and then make a new key. So if you want to concatenate to a string, it will work as well. So if we enter apple plus apple, it will go as apple computers. Yeah, so this is an important object. Let's see, if I am making a function and returning an object, and if we have the same key value and the variable which is stored has the value are the same, what we can do is we can shorten them. So basically we don't need to write this 2 times. We can just write it once, and the JavaScript will expand this by itself. When the compiler compiles, it will expand it by itself, right? Next is, yeah, also we can mix those things. So basically one can be expanded and another cannot be. That's fine. Property names limitation. So okay, so there are some conditions where we can do. There are reserved keywords, right? Variable cannot have the name equal to one of the language reserved words. So we cannot name the key, the for, let, return. So this will have a problem. So what happened right now? Should the okay. Sorry. So the thing is, for the variable naming, we have a limitation of this thing, but for the object, we don't have any limitation of property names. They can be any string. For instance, number 0 can be. So whatever, if you give integer, it will become a string, and if you give reserve keyword, that will work fine. So that's why we have to be careful with objects. So there is only special keyword which we cannot rewrite, which is a prototype. This is a part of the prototype inheritance. We will read in the subsequent chapters. Right. Properties existing test in operators. Okay, so the thing is, if there is no such property and we want to access, let's just say user has an age and name, but we want to access its father's name. So that will be undefined, but we don't have any properties. We won't get any error if we try to access the property. So that's the JavaScript thing. Too many languages doesn't support this thing. There's also a special operator in for that. So we want to access all the properties of this object. We can use this by a similar method, right? So let's just say we want to check if the particular key exists in object or not. So we can do key value in user. So name in user it will fine, age in user will work true. But if there's no key, it will give us false. Okay, so it says that why does in operator exist? So that like why does this operator exist in, right? We can just compare against undefined and it will work fine, right? Because that's what we are doing here, right? Object dot key is equal to undefined or not. It will give us true first. Why do we need in? Basically because let's just say we name the key and then we give the value of undefined. So if we do object dot test equal to undefined, it will come as true. But the true means that there is no property, but this property does exist. Sorry, true means the property doesn't exist, but here the property exists. So we have a problem, right? That's why the in operator works out. We can also, if we want to loop out the values in object, we can use the for in loop, basically for loop with key in object. या फिर whatever variable name in the object will work fine. So key in user, right? This is how it works. Let me give you an example for this one. So next what we can do is here you will see all my typos, but anyway. Okay, good. So if you want to list out all the keys in this object one, what we can do is you can do for let I in object one, right? So this will do is it listed out the name, age, profession. Now what if we want the values as well, right? What we can do is I comma, we can do object one of I. Now we have a name as well as the values. If you want to show it better, we can add the column as well. Right? That's what they are trying to explain. So there is no sorting happens in the object. So are the object orders, in other words, we can loop for the object. Do we get the properties in the same order they added? Can we rely on this? So the short answer is order and distribution function integer properties are sorted, all other properties are in the creation order if they are bit. There is an example. Let's consider an object within the phone codes, right? So if we try to print this out, it will print the sorted order. So object may be used to suggest a list of options to user. If you are making a site only for German audience, then you probably want the 49 to be first, But if we run the code, we see a totally different picture. USA will go first and Switzerland will come later. The phone codes go in the ascending order because they are in the integer. So we see 141, 49. The integer property term here means that the string that can be converted to from the integer without change. So basically, if we name any key value as in Kelly as a number, it will automatically convert to the integer in the object. So if what we can do to solve this issue, we can add the plus here. So this will make it as in a string, and now it won't get sorted. Right? So let's go out with summary. Objects are arrays with special features. They store properties like key values pairs, and to access the property we can use dot or square bracket. If we are on the random variable, or it's a variable and you don't know the value property, always go with the square bracket notion. This is much better. If you want to read it, you can use read keyword and then object dot key name. If the property or key in the object exists, you can use in operator. If you want to loop in, you can use for loop with in key value, in keyword. So these are the plain objects, right? That's what we are studying. But a lot of things are in the JavaScript are combination of objects. So array, date, error, even the function at some kind are objects. So these are called a special feature, and this is why you should focus on learning objects. So there are some tasks. Hello object, write the code where you have to create an empty user, then add the property name, the value John, add the surname with the value Smith, change the value of name to Pete, remove the value of the name from object. Right? Okay, there are 3-4 problems. Let's try to solve the first one. Right? So first they have said create an empty user, create an empty object with the username, right? We did that. Fine. Now add the property name with the value John. So add the user. Now we want to user dot name equal to John. Right. Next is the property surname with the value Smith. Similar thing we have to do here, surname with Smith. Fine. Change the value of name to Pete. So we can do the same thing. User dot name equal to Pete. Okay. And then remove the property name from the object. Delete user dot name. If you try to execute this, we won't get anything. But what you can do is you can do console.log it. So this is console.log users similar thing here, similar thing here, right? And if I try to execute this thing, first we get the name John and Smith, second we get the Pete and Smith, and last we get only Smith with the surname. So the solution, I think we are on the right path. We used const instead of at because we can go with the constant, and user is not getting replaced anywhere, or can is not reassigning anywhere, so we can go with constant. Name, surname, name, dates, right? Well, I guess that's it for today. Try to do all those activities, and we'll see you some other time. Bye bye.